In a recent email, I talked about the vulnerabilities of Zoom. One of those vulnerabilities also applies to Google Hangouts. So what do? There is a way to protect ourselves, but ultimately protect the students. So here I am in my inbox. I'm going to start a meeting. Starting a meeting can be done in several different ways. If you're wondering how, go to my YouTube playlist and watch the Hangouts video. So the first thing I see after I've started this stream is this contact card and the URL, the meeting URL. This URL is plain text. Anybody could type it in. The first portion of this is simply meet.google. Every single meeting has that. The last part is a randomized letter of strings. The chances of guessing this are very, very slim. But somebody could. The second way is actually finding it. If somebody found this URL somewhere, they could join. So it's very important that you're careful with this URL once it's created, once you set up a meeting. So you can share it, of course, through your calendar, where we talked about in the Hangouts video. You can create a calendar event, share it that way. You can also share it via your Google Classroom on your stream or send an email. The other option is you don't share it and you actually invite people. I'm going to do that here just because it's easier and I'm only doing one student. Send invite. All right, so let me take you over to the student screen. Refresh my page. And here I have an invite. So we can join. We can join the meeting. At this point, they may see a prompt to allow them to use their microphone. Be sure that they, if they have any trouble, then they'll need to allow Google access to their microphone and camera. So you've joined, and this person has joined, right? So it could be a student. It could be a imposter. Well, we can see everybody that's in a meeting by clicking the little people icon, and it's just a list, right? You've probably all seen this. We can see who's talking and whatnot. We can click on their picture and see what's going on. So as somebody who is a part of a meeting, I can participate in 4 different ways. I can talk, I can show a picture, I can chat, and I can share my screen. So what if somebody has joined who shouldn't be and they're sharing inappropriate things? Well, what can we do? First of all, if they're talking too much, you can just mute them. And I kind of skipped through that. I clicked the down arrow next to their name, and then I clicked the mute. What this is saying is, are you sure you want to mute them? Because you cannot unmute them. The student actually has to unmute themselves. So if you're concerned about that, of course, ask them to mute themselves, and you'll be able to walk through muting and unmuting. If they're unwilling to, then just press mute, and that mutes them. They'll have to figure out how to unmute it. Now, if they're just being inappropriate and sharing inappropriate things, just click the remove icon next to the mute one. Click remove, and it completely removes them from the meeting, but not permanently. I'll take you over to the student side. As you can see here, it says someone has removed you from the meeting. If I close that, I can click join meeting, which is the same one that I did originally, and there's the meeting still. I can join right back in. So how do we permanently? Well, what you have to do is completely close down the meeting and start a new one. So in order to do that, this also applies to any meeting that you're doing. If I close this meeting, this is kind of a side note. This is also applying. Okay, if I close the meeting, the students are still able to participate on the meeting. So this leaves them vulnerable to people joining. You need to make sure that your meeting is closed down properly. So let me rejoin. The way you do that is click on the People's tab and ensure that everybody is disconnected. So you just say, hey, the meeting is over, please disconnect. So the student can press the leave, Or if they're unable to or whatever, for whatever reason, you can just click remove. Wait a minute or so to ensure that everybody is completely off of the meeting and nobody's trying to jump back on, and then click hang up. It takes about 10 seconds or so for the code to be completely deactivated, and I'll show you here. So the student might try joining again, and so great, it doesn't work. It says the code you entered doesn't work. So the code is completely deactivated. Nobody can use it. So now what you could do as a teacher is start a new capture, just going to meeting and adding your students. So that's the vulnerability of using Google Hangouts. As more vulnerabilities come up, as I'm sure there will, I will be sure to keep you informed so that first and foremost, we can protect our students. Thanks for watching.